You're watching Slingshot the Podcast, the misunderstood voice, the culture's power. Today's episode is entitled, What the Hell Did We Ever Do to Y'all? And so I have to ask the question.
Yeah.
What the hell did we ever do to y'all?
What the hell did we do to y'all, man?
What the hell did we do?
We ain't do nothing. We existed. That's what we did. We existed. We unintentionally outperformed and outshined. Unintentionally, we just did that. We came with seasoning and some sauce. We just did that. They didn't like any of that, you know? So, yeah.
It's this time of year, you know, when we're celebrating various things. It was just Juneteenth.
Mm-hmm.
It's Pride. You just had Pride. You know, coming out of Black History Month a few months back. You know, this causes stress.
Yeah.
It causes stress because here we are trying to celebrate our existence.
That's all.
And the comment section is enough to make you say, I just have to turn this all off.
Yeah. That's all. That's all.
I continue to ask the question, what did we ever do to y'all besides exist? It's maybe like we're a constant reminder of what has happened in this country or what has happened in this country. We're a constant reminder of what has happened in this country.
Yeah. We can't get past it.
Yeah.
It's always a reminder.
Yeah. Well, we can't get past it because we haven't had the real conversation about it.
Well, we tried. We tried. And they co-opted the quote-unquote wokeism.
Yeah.
Right? They co-opted that, right? And they use it so wrong. But then, you know, the whole idea of critical race theory, right? They co-opted that. They made it something and labeled it something that it wasn't. And so every time we try our best to communicate with it, or just to say, hey, just recognize it, just acknowledge it. Yeah. That's all we ask. That's what happens.
We're still in sit still summer, right? And this is when the ancestors, again, we're going to stay on ancestors episode after episode because the ancestors are really talking in 2025.
They talking.
And so they have said, this is the summer in which we need to sit still. And when we say we, I'm talking about particularly Black women, otherwise known as the 92%, that, you know, whenever we are in spaces, I'm talking about protest spaces, vigil spaces, we attract the ire of people. And we can't even just attend an event without, you know, everyone looking at what it is we're doing or saying, just being. So it is sit still summer. It is time for us to hydrate, for us to experience joy, time for us to continue to clap our fans and put our boots on the ground. And so this is why we do this, because anytime that we're involved in anything, it seems as though someone is mad about it, just our mere existence. And I will say this, anti-Blackness in this country is on the rise. It is on the rise, and I can feel it. I can feel it. All right. Now, I'm sure those of you out here watching this, you've heard of Ruby Bridges. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you've heard of the Tulsa race riots.
Jeez.
Guess who has not heard of those things? The Secretary of the Department of Education. And so when you're watching this today, you may have heard about this a few weeks ago, in which Congresswoman Summer Lee, representing Pennsylvania, Allegheny County, she questioned Department of Education Secretary Linda McMahon and asked her for yes or no answers. And she asked if teaching of these issues or historical moments in history was illegal DEI. I mean, the fact that there is a such thing called illegal DEI, right? So let's break it down.
Another term.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Yeah. For any of that to be anti or illegal. So illegal diversity, illegal equity, illegal inclusion. How is that even a thing? How are those illegal? So when asked if learning about Ruby Bridges or learning about the Tulsa race riots, are those illegal DEI teachings? Linda McMahon, she had no idea what these things were and said, I will get back to you on this. I've never heard of these things, essentially. Ruby Bridges is still alive.
Shout out
right?
to
And
Ruby
younger than
Bridges,
my
yeah.
parents.
Yeah.
Ruby Bridges is still alive.
And these are the things they're trying to take out of our schools as well. The
Right.
teaching.
The teaching.
Yeah.
For what?
Do we understand the irony, though, of her position? Who doesn't know this information?
Right.
Do we understand? Can we just start there for a minute?
Yeah.
Can we just sit on that? That's crazy.
And can we say unqualified? Unqualified.
Yeah. Is she
Under.
the DEI hire?
Right.
Is she the DEI?
Right.
Yeah, how about that, right?
She definitely didn't earn it.
It works when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So people watching here, maybe you're new to this Slingshot the Podcast. Ruby Bridges, at a very tender age, had the courage to integrate a school in this country. She is still alive today. She is still younger than my parents. She still exists. She's still out here telling the story, writing books. So we have folks who want to ban her books because they don't want people to learn about the history, a period in time in which this country would not allow Black folks education in the same facilities as white people. This is why they don't want people to learn this history, because if you learn this history, then there has to be some type of reparation for this history.
Yeah.
So Tulsa race riots, there are still people alive today.
Yeah.
I mean, there's very few of them now, but there are still people alive today that were victims of the Tulsa race riots.
Yeah. Unfortunate. It's so unfortunate when you talk about just them. I think it's only a couple alive though. They should be, how old is it? About 90 now? 80, 90?
Who's this?
No, just some of the survivors of the
Oh,
race
they're in
riot.
their 100s. Yeah, 90s and 100s.
Yep, 90s and 100s. And so can you imagine them living to now and seeing
Right.
that they still never received any reparation for that? And they have been fighting for it.
Right.
And I think one of the cases, we was talking about courts, right? They kind of ruled like, oh, well. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Everyone knows that this happened, right? And generally, Black folk, we get mad, but we don't necessarily get even, right? We don't go out and massacre everyone. That's not within our nature. All we want to do is have you just acknowledge that. Most Black folk like that. You smack me, I'm mad at you. But if you would say, yeah, I did that, that was my bad, we like, oh, all right, let's go have a beer. Right.
Yeah.
Do we drink beer anymore? We don't drink beer. Let's have a cup of wine or something. Or some all Black food drink ginger ale, right? Let's have some ginger ale, right?
It cures everything.
It cures everything.
Ginger ale
Let's have some
cures
ginger ale,
everything.
right? And so, but we get over it, right? And so all we literally want is just for you to acknowledge this would happen,
Right.
and we can move on.
Right.
That's it. That's all. That's it.
But the anti-Blackness is palpable in this moment. And I feel it more and more each passing day. I think about HBCUs. You know, I'm someone who's in the comment section, you know, and I'm checking out for comments. And I think people don't realize why HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities, why they even exist to this day, right? There are some who believe that they shouldn't exist anymore.
Right.
So what does that mean? I received my degree at an institution, and so it shouldn't exist anymore. And so how do I celebrate my education, right? So myself, right, I attended Lincoln University, the oldest historically Black college, degree granting university in the nation in Pennsylvania. Shout out Lincoln University.
Shout out Lincoln University.
By the way,
You gonna say about Cheney? You about to talk about Cheney?
well, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated was founded.
Okay.
I'm just saying, how are you? It's okay.
All right.
Yeah, this is what we do. You know, we Black, historically Black. We love, like, that's why Black Greek letter organizations understand how I just said that. Black Greek letter organizations are very important because they're founded at these HBCUs.
Yeah.
And then we were able to spread out, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, we on Temple campus, we're on Drexel campus, we're on Penn campus, right? And so it's important to just see where we started out of a sense of lack and grew, right? That's what Black folk do. We don't get super mad. We just, okay, we'll just do it our way. Right. Why you mad?
Yeah. Well, HBCUs were created because we weren't allowed to go to predominantly white institution.
That part.
We were not allowed to be there in that setting. It took for the courts to say, let them in,
Yeah.
right?
Facts.
And it took for young folks like Ruby Bridges to put their bodies on the line to allow us to attend
Yeah.
primarily white institutions. And so HBCUs exist. And here's the thing about that. Never excluded anybody. You had the indigenous community attending historically black colleges and universities. You had white folks attending because they were more affordable lots of times.
Yeah.
Our schools were much more affordable, more welcoming, right? We welcomed everyone. So these universities will continue to exist no matter if we are integrated supposedly within this country or not. HBCUs will continue to exist. Yeah.
We want this. They want everybody want the sauce.
Yeah.
We put the sauce on everything.
And they want to erase our history,
It's crazy.
but keep our culture.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the culture, but not so much the people.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it is a trigger for me. Every Juneteenth season, Black History Month season, Pride season, when we're talking about protecting Black trans lives, all of this is a trigger because the comment section just goes wild. And sometimes you just have to walk away. And people can say, oh, they're just words, get over it. But when you're constantly bombarded by these words and images, how much can one person take? Yeah, how many times? So here, I'm running an organization, a voting rights organization. You can only imagine what my emails look like, particularly because we're a voting rights organization centering Black and brown communities. I can't tell you how many times I've received messages calling me a monkey or an ape, or receiving emojis and emails to say the same. But there's, sometimes, I can't just roll this off my back. Yeah. I'm a human being. I have feelings and emotions. I'm a human being. Now, Charles, you were talking earlier about putting the sauce on everything.
We put the sauce on everything.
Right? Country music is ours as well.
We just put the sauce on that too.
Yeah. So when we talk about Black music, it is, or American music, it is Black music. It is Black beats. It is African beats.
Yep.
If it's blues, if it's country, if it's techno.
Yes.
Everything.
Everything.
Hip hop, of course, hip hop.
Jazz.
Even some rock music.
Rock as well.
That's right. And so a lot of people get all of this twisted. No.
Yeah.
A lot of that is ingrained. Even like when we talk about Afro beats and some Dominican, even like salsa and congos, all that has an African etymology to it, right?
Yeah.
Inspiration to it. And so, yeah, I mean, look, we put the sauce on everything, and it's all right. Like, we're not saying that you can't have a piece of it. We're just saying, just acknowledge it.
So I continue to ask the question, what the hell did we ever do to y'all?
That's my point.
Right? What did we ever do? So I know, Dyneco, that you are a Beyonce fan, part of the Beehive. So what has this led you to do now?
Listen to country music when I hadn't before.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I enjoy it. Really do.
Yeah. My grandfather was a truck driver. He loved country music. Yeah. Charlie Pride and others. So, yeah, country music.
You had some good. Your family did almost everything.
They did.
Yeah. Sure.
Shout out to the Teamsters.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Teamsters. All right. Well, country music is ours as well.
Yeah.
We're about to take a break and we'll be right back. You're watching Slingshot the Podcast, the misunderstood voice, the culture's power, at New Millennium Multimedia Studios. All right, we're back, and we're still talking about anti-Blackness on the rise and asking the question, what the hell did we ever do to y'all?
Just why?
What the hell did we ever do?
I ain't do nothing. I'm just here, existing.
Yeah.
Why can't we just coexist?
Well, anti-Blackness is on the rise.
Yeah.
And, there's so much going on in the country, so much going on in the world. I think about just, 5 years ago, we're in the midst of COVID, being at the height of the COVID pandemic. And there was so much Asian hate at the time based upon that. And so there were TV commercials and ads and things in papers saying to stop the Asian hate, right? And obviously that was needed. Dyneco, that was obviously needed. As an organization, we center all immigrant communities and communities of color. So, all in favor for that. Stop the Asian hate is ridiculous. And then, coming in the times of, anti-Semitic feelings within the country as well, anti-Palestinian feelings in the country as well. And you've got campaigns on TV and other places saying, stop the hate, stop the hate, stop the anti-Semitism. And with the rise of all this anti-Blackness, I think it's time for us to have some TV commercials, for us to have some ads,
Absolutely.
for us to get out to the folks that there's time to stop this anti-Blackness because it is on the rise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it brought us out during a time when, folks were saying, stay in the house, wear masks.
Right.
With George Floyd, it brought us out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's one of the things, like, we forget so fast. We forget some of these prominent situations and milestones that happened in the last, I want to say, like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's been just that short of time.
Yeah.
Right.
And we forget that quickly. And we have to constantly be remembered of that when something happens similar. Then we have to get triggered because now we're going back in the files and seeing the same videos. And it's like, yo, that's what happened to Sandra Bland. That's what happened. All of these different people. And it's like, well, what do you have against us?
Right.
Why? Like, why don't you like us? Why?
And you know what else is really triggering for me right now is that we're coming off of the anniversary of George Floyd's murder in Minneapolis. Today, as we're shooting this podcast, it would have been the birthday of Breonna Taylor, right? We're talking about the Black Lives Matter movement. And you see the comment section under news posts on social media and folks just saying the most awful things about somebody's son, somebody's father. If it's Breonna Taylor and the nasty comments they have about her, or George Floyd, or whoever it may be. I mean, it's not necessary. It's just not necessary. It's a loss of life. We just had a situation here in Pennsylvania, in Montgomery County, where there were 3 young folks out of O&J Roberts High School in Montgomery County who allegedly stole something out of a Target. The police chased them down, and 3 of the 4 young folks today are no longer with us. And they're sending grieving counselors in for grieving children in the school district.
See?
You've got a daughter.
Yeah, that was, these young folks were 17 years old.
Yeah.
3 young folks that, their lives are ended.
Right.
And maybe because they made a bad choice. But the result should not be death.
Right.
Right.
The result should not be death.
Right. So we have a lot, that we need to fix.
Yeah.
We have a lot that we need to fix. A lot of things people need to learn so we can fix them. We do a lot of traveling across the Commonwealth, putting on events, doing civic education and engagement events. And we have traveled from the Philadelphia area to Erie, Pennsylvania, in the car.
Not another country.
Yeah.
Within the
Within the state, crossed over through the middle of the state.
Right.
And found ourselves questioning whether or not we are allowed in certain places.
Right. Exactly.
So speak on it.
The exact area we were going through, thinking about, wow, we have a couple of hours before the sun goes down.
Right.
And thinking about, do we even stop to get anything to drink?
Right.
Do we fill up with gas or do we keep going? Because it's a very real thing. Some people might think, well, that doesn't happen. It happens.
Right.
It's a very real thing.
Yeah. And if you're not attuned to the historical context, there was something called the Green Book.
Yeah.
This is in the 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s, where Black folks had to create a book to say where it was safe to go, where it was safe to eat, where it was safe to pump gas, where it was safe to stay, what hotels would accept us, where we could use rest stops. Right. So this isn't all that long ago. No. Right. My parents are alive during this period.
And we think about you mentioned the Green Book, but think about something like the braids. Right. How, just the simple patterns in the style of your braids kind of gave you an idea of where to go or where to avoid, how to get to certain places.
That's right. Yeah. And to feed you. How about that? A lot of people ain't know that one. Yeah. That again, we put the sauce on everything. Well, we come up with ingenious ways to do all type of things.
At the time of this recording today, the Trump administration has now reinstated their basically Muslim travel ban. It's a Muslim travel ban and it's a Black people travel ban. So it is 10 countries in which they are saying that folks from these countries cannot fly into the United States. And it's similar to the 7 countries he had in his previous travel ban. And obviously, a lot of countries on the continent of Africa, right?
And listen, we don't have to wait for him to say this is a Black travel ban.
Right.
We know what it is.
Yeah.
We know what it is.
Yeah. Well, I'm preparing to go to Poland. So by the time this episode is airing, I might be in Poland right now, y'all. And I hope I come back to this country. I hope I'm allowed back in. I've got family here, and I want to get back into the only country that I know, that I work hard in, and which I fight to protect freedoms within. So I know that in preparation for traveling to Poland, I had to reach out to our attorneys to get some advice on ensuring I get back in. I did my Googling to find out how safe it is for a Black person to be traveling in Poland, right? I've come to find out Poland's a lot more progressive than the United States
I was
is.
about to say, Poland, you never hear anything about Poland, like no issues with Poland.
And many places are.
Yeah.
Many places are more accepting of us than where we're supposed to
currently live in the West, right?
Be citizens.
Sure,
the country our ancestors built.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting. This rise of anti-Blackness, it exists and it has to stop.
Right.
It's got to stop.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. We're going to take another break and we will be right back. All right. See you in a minute. You're watching Slingshot the Podcast. This is more than just a podcast. This is a movement to inspire and motivate and mobilize. This is for those whose voices have been unheard, misunderstood, undervalued, and underserved. We're going to talk about sports, culture, entertainment, and we're going to use this to build power in our communities. All right, we are back, and we're talking about the rise of anti-Blackness and asking the question, what the hell did we ever do to y'all?
What did we do to y'all?
Right. And there's nothing that it seems to cause more chaos and ire on social media and in the internet than the talk of reparations. People are really not in favor of reparations for Black people in this country.
Not at all.
Reparations isn't new. All of the communities in this country that have experienced a type of racism,
except us,
in this country have received reparations.
Except us.
Indigenous folks have received some form of reparations. Asian communities in California, basically put into our own versions of concentration camps here in this country, all receive some type of reparations.
That's right.
Except for Black folks.
Except us,
And they won't even acknowledge it.
Right.
So not only not doing anything about it to rectify it, but won't even acknowledge it.
But see, that's the thing. As long as they don't acknowledge it, they don't have to think about reparations, right? And then you have all our skin folk and our kinfolk, right? You have a lot of them kind of saying, well, we don't need reparations, or why is reparations important? Or you have, I call them the ops. They jump in, and as soon as we come up with a plan, they throw a monkey wrench in it. And so it's a problem. This is a problem. Just give us a reparations, acknowledge it, and keep it moving. You won't have you won't have Black folk. We're going to leave you alone. Black folk love everybody.
And many times, because reparations, getting what's due to us means that we can turn it around and make our lives better, make our communities better. When we think about during COVID, how many Black folks started businesses.
That's right.
And how many, businesses were started within our communities and things like that. And we have that ability. Yeah. And that's a problem.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to shout out again to Summer Lee, Representative Summer Lee, Congresswoman Summer Lee out of Allegheny County. She has put forward a bill to give reparations to Black people in this country.
Shout out Summer Lee.
And she has received so much hate.
Of course.
Right? And I think Summer Lee at one point was someone who liked to do her own social media, where she can't even do her own social media right now because we are human beings. And this language that folks are using against us is just intolerable. And you can't just keep looking at it every day and think it's going to be okay. Reparations, and the big argument, Sim will say, well, you weren't even alive during slavery, so why do we owe you reparations? And I wasn't owning slaves. My family came over here in the 50s. We didn't own any slaves. Why are our tax dollars supposed to go to reparations? Well, a wrong was done,
wrong was
right?
done.
And it's not as if the effects of chattel slavery or the effects of Jim Crow or the effects of Black Crow don't still live today in this country.
Absolutely. You benefit. You have a privilege. You benefit from the systemic ecosystem, the blueprint that was put in place. And so you still benefit. That's why it's a problem. You don't have to be the person who laid the hand or draw the sword, right? But you benefit from the people who have done that. So the goal, what we would expect, is for you to, one, acknowledge it, but also, become an ally to it. Like, yo, we need your help to make a lot of this right.
And think about the things that are not passed down to us. Right. If we think about the things that Black people built, if those things had been passed down versus taken away,
100%.
Yeah. Imagine how much further we would be.
How about that? Yes.
Think about generational wealth, right? So free labor, which should have been paid labor, which would be money in the bank for someone to leave to future generations. I think about the GI Bill,
that part,
and how the GI Bill let for white folks coming back from war enter the middle class, allowed for them to buy homes and communities, allowed for them to go to colleges. There was no GI Bill for Black folks. Right? GI Bill was very slim pickings for a Black person coming back from war to be able to utilize the GI Bill. That all created generational wealth. And that is something that doesn't exist in the Black community for the most part.
Unfortunately,
yeah. Well, I want to share in this moment, I'm going to share a personal story. And I've spoken about my great-grandfather before in previous episodes. His name was M.L. Clay, Milton L. Clay. And Milton L. Clay, again, my great-grandfather, just one great, meaning my father's grandfather. He was born enslaved in 1860 on an Aberdeen, Mississippi plantation, right? Many of you may have hugged, kissed, touched your great-grandparent. This is mine. Born enslaved on a Mississippi plantation. Somehow, some way, his mom, an enslaved woman, found a way to get her son into college after slavery came to close. So obviously, and my great-grandfather was the product of his master and my great-great-grandmother, right? And so we know how these relationships went down on plantations. So he was able to matriculate and graduate from college, Fisk University, another HBCU. We needed them.
Yeah, shout out.
HBCU, Fisk University, traveled from Mississippi to Memphis, Tennessee, started a life, did very well for himself, created a family that involved my grandmother and my great-grandmother, and found himself, like many others, and we talked about the Tulsa race riot earlier, assassinated in 1911 on Beale Street in Memphis in front of one of his businesses. So my great-grandfather is an example of that generational wealth. He did very well for himself at the assistance of Booker T. Washington. He founded the first Black-owned bank in America that had assets of $1 million or more. Him and Josiah Settle. So if you have any alphas watching this show, they should know who Josiah Settle is. And they created wealth in a community in Memphis, Tennessee, in a time, this is the late 1800s, early 1900s, where Black wealth existed. And many successful Black businessmen were shot down and murdered, as my great-grandfather was. So there is no generational wealth. Once he was assassinated, that money went away. So I say this story because people say, well, this isn't about you. This is your ancestors. I wasn't here for that. I wasn't involved in that. This was my heritage. This was my inheritance, right? So this isn't all that long ago either. We just have to respect that. Yeah, so, shout out to M.L. Clay, who did his thing. He went from slavery, born enslaved, son of his master, to one of the wealthiest Black men in all of Tennessee, only to be assassinated on Beale Street in 1911 when my grandmother was 1 year old. So that leads me to our closing out today's episode. And, we all talk about how much our culture is loved, the sauce that is put on, the cookouts folks want to go to. Sauce, there's a lot of love for our culture, but it seems to be not a love for the people.
Yes.
And we have to do something about this anti-Blackness sentiment that is running rampant through this country in this moment. And I feel it. So what's your recommendation? What can people do who want to support our communities and ensure that, we continue to thrive or can continue to thrive in this country? thoughts?
I have love on my shirt for this episode. And when you think about love, us loving ourselves and celebrating who we are. And because if we don't do it, certainly no one else is going to do it. So I feel like that's a start. But, demanding that we be respected, that we be loved, that we matter, and continue to remind each other of that, and pour back into our own communities.
100%. I agree with all of that. 100. There's nothing else left to be said. I agree with all of that. Yeah. I just want to know. Matter of fact, if you're watching, and you one of our friendly white folk, let us know why. I just want to know why. Yeah, that's a great question. Leave it in the comments. Let us know why. What is it that you believe we can do to foster a better relationship between us and y'all? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
All right. Well, this episode is coming to a close, and I hope that this sparks some conversation. I hope that you take this into game night, wherever you may be, and having your discussions around the dining room table and talking to your kids about it too.
That's right. That's right.
All right. So if you're out there and you're playing spades or whatever you're doing, have this conversation. Yeah. Have this conversation and let folks know that anti-Blackness is on the rise, and we need to put a squash on it right now before it gets even larger than it already is. Yeah. And it is unfortunate that we have a current administration that seems to want to fan the flames of anything that is going to add value to Black lives in this moment. You're not going to erase our history because there's people alive that are going to keep telling the story. The griots will keep telling the story, and we're not going anywhere.
Sharing the legacy. That's right. Of your grandfather. Right. You can't erase that.
No, you can't erase it.
Can't erase that.
And so we'll close out today and take a little time, to take care of your mental health in this moment. I know I've kind of shied away a little bit from social media as much as I can. I've gotten myself off of some platforms where the vitriol was just too much to take. So protect your peace and provide the information that people need to make it through.
That's right.
We're powerful.
Yeah. All right, people. You have a good one. Thanks for being with us today. We'll see you later. I'm Kadida Kenner, and you're watching Slingshot the Podcast, the misunderstood voice, the culture's power.